We live in a superficial reality where everything in this life is accepted besides the human individual. And I'm going to tell you why that everything gets accepted superficially. People out here accept you if you get plastic surgery, meaning BBLs, uh, breast implants, uh, anything of that nature, right, that has to do with plastic surgery. They appreciate you having something of material to appease their eyes to accept you. And people stay in these fantasies, and they stay in these fantasies because it gives them a big dopamine hit. And the dopamine hit for them is an immediate rush at that moment, and then it goes away. Or for some people, the dopamine stays, depending on what that individual has as far as materialistic stuff. They stay. Um, and so, folks, out here, um, they all for it. They accept it. Just like your job. If you got a job, you're making good, decent money. People love that. They love the not. They don't like you, right? They like the idea of what you can present to them. And yeah, so if you got a good paying job, you got money in your bank, lots of it. Those people, uh, would put on an act for you just to get close to your money, right? And they live in those fantasies consistently. Um, just like Hollywood. Hollywood is another thing too, where there's real people in Hollywood, but the act of what they're doing is superficial. It's a smoke and mirrors type of thing. Whatever floats the crowd's excitement, right? That's what Hollywood does, right? They create this illusion of fantasy, right? To keep people indulging into that, but Hollywood itself indulges into something entirely different. But that's for another video. Um, I say all that to say this, you guys, is that um, the superficial shit don't matter out here, right? It doesn't matter. Um, what matters is humanity, you know. And there's, like I said, what creates all this stuff is other humans, but I'm saying like humanity as a whole, you know. Um, you don't in this life, you don't get accepted for being who you are. You don't get accepted for speaking the truth. People frown upon that. They reward you. They reward the fantasy, accept the fantasy, and they frown upon the truth, or somebody who um, stands on their truth and walk in their truth. You know what I'm saying? And it's getting worse and worse year after year. Um, you know, the people, people out here, they stay in those elements, man. They escape from a lot of stuff. They don't want to see the truth. You know, I've seen people live their whole entire lives and die off of a fantasy and just trying to escape from something, right? Which, I feel for those people because those people are probably saying, but probably want to say what I am saying, you know. Um, you know, they wish they had this type of outlet to talk about these kind of things. And me, I don't run from it, I don't run from it because it needs to be said. It needs to be talked about more often than not. And for those folks out there who don't like that I make these kind of videos, this video is not for you at all. These are for my truth seekers, the people who understand where I'm coming from and who can tap into reality like I'm tapping into reality for what it really is. Um, I appreciate you guys for that. And it's very hard to navigate this life and move, in such a way, meaning play this game to survive, that you almost have to in a sense, you have to cover up your truth, you know. But for those who's not afraid of the backlash and what can come of it, after speaking your truth, them are the ones you want to stand next to. Them are the people that you want in your corner, because they see all the BS, they see the smoke and mirrors, they see all that stuff they see all that stuff that's not appeasing to them, And for me, I want to be able to be surrounded by people who live this life in such a way to where people don't understand, meaning no conformity, meaning create their lives the way they create it, have some kind of peace and happiness that appeases them. Them are the kind of people that I like to be around, or I like to hear from, because, this world is needed of people. Of connection. I'm gonna say people, but of connection. This world doesn't function without connection. Although it may be some people who's well off as far as them being by themselves and have a complete hatred for themselves. Hey, those are those people. Let them relish in what they relish in. But for the people who understand that you can't function in this life without connection, them are the kind of people that I would constantly love to surround myself around, because them are the people who I can have rational talks with, who have critical thinking, who have solutions if we all come together, and how we're going to be able to navigate this life with the game that we're in. Them are the kind of people that I would like to surround myself with. But yeah, y'all. We live in. We've been living in the superficial shit. And when you're able to open your eyes and see shit for what it really is, that shit doesn't really matter. It's not really of a major concern, right? You do the bare minimum to get by, right? Not overselling, not making yourself look like a fool out here for other people's amusement. Doing what it is that you need to do as far as appeasing yourself, and obviously the people who wants to lean in your corner, hey, you want to invite those folks. But you got to kind of, like, in a sense, for a lot of folks out there, and I feel for you guys have to play a quiet game of maneuvering around out here. And it's truly, truly sad, because it shouldn't be like this. And, I hope that, me making this video will encourage someone to speak out. Will have people out here making more videos or doing whatever it is they need to do in their everyday lives. Bring this to the forefront, because this needs to be talked about more often than the superficial shit. I don't like to indulge in fantasy. The only type of fantasy I want to indulge is when I'm watching cartoons or something like that. I want to indulge in those fantasies because obviously, that's my dopamine. I like that kind of stuff, right? But that's fantasy. That's there, right? That's what I want to indulge into at that moment. But I'm saying, as far as reality, I don't want to just deal in fantasy. I want to be able to deal with truth for what it really is. And if I have to die trying, I'm going to constantly keep doing it, because it needs to be talked about, you guys. So let me shout out a few people. I don't know you guys' names, but I'm just going to shout you out anyway. But shout out to those folks who came in my comments for the last video, me talking about me doing it all wrong. I definitely appreciate you guys for resonating with me and talking to me and telling me, obviously it's about what I didn't want to do myself, but for you guys to say, to give you guys the opinions, I do appreciate it. But those people who told me to don't worry about other folks and keep pushing through, I appreciate you guys more than you know. you know, because I did have doubts in my mind, like, you know, maybe I am doing this shit wrong, you know, but um, basically me standing my truth, it can't be wrong, you know. I just think that it's not made for a lot of people, and it shows. It's not made for a lot of people. It's made for those who want to get it, who want to understand it, who want to be able to indulge in this type of content. You know, those people who want to indulge in this type of content, I appreciate you. I mean, more than you know. I mean, it's you get here, y'all. You get here. So, you know, I'm gonna keep pushing out these videos, no matter what. You know, I've came to that conclusion when I sat back last night and I thought about what I want to do as far as if I want to make another video or not. And I came to the conclusion. I just said, "Fuck it," you know. And then when I seen those comments, it really gave me some clarity. You know, it's like, man, I'm not gonna tuck my tail and hide my hand. Nah, that's not what I do. That's not what JP do on his channel. So, you know, with that being said, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell them to push notifications so you won't get, so you will be notified whatever video I drop next. And until the next video, y'all, salute. To the next one. I'm gone.